We're going to get started. Welcome everyone to our first event of this year's Internship Week. We are so excited to have you joining us today, and we are really excited to kick this week off with a wonderful panel and course fair. We're talking about academic internships and internship success today and all week, and so we are so glad for you all to join us. So I'd like to welcome and thank our panelists for today as well. And we are going to have lots of time for questions and be sharing any questions that you might have. So feel free to use the chat at any time, and we can either do those questions as we go, or we can answer questions at the end as well. So to get us started too, I wanted to just let everybody know some housekeeping and reminders for today. So definitely utilize the chat function as much as possible. Also do keep your mics muted because we want to eliminate distractions and feedback, of course. And we are recording this, and will be on our YouTube channel, the May Center YouTube channel. So look forward to seeing that and feedback as well, so you can learn even more, share with your friends. Also too, right after this at 12, from 12 to 12:30, we are having a fair. So there are 7 wonderful faculty members who teach internships for course credit, and they are going to be sharing their expertise. So there are links, and I'll be putting them in the chat as well for each one, so you can go and ask some questions from professors about internships for credit in their class. This week is full of really great stuff and really great information, like I was saying. So tomorrow we have Trivia Tuesday. Students Plus Startups is going to be there for Trivia Tuesday. You can register on JagSync for that. And look, they have a gift card. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. So free stuff. Also too, we are having our Family Feud workshop. So learning about internship success in a really fun Family Feud sort of way. So you can register for that, as well as our All Majors Virtual Career Fair on Thursday. So here's the information to sign up, and we're really excited to have everybody join for that career fair as well. And then finally, we'll be ending our week with our virtual externship with Randolph Brooks Federal Credit Union. So they're going to have a really engaging, fun opportunity for you all to learn about all different kinds of careers and the internship opportunities that they have there as well. So we hope you're able to join us for that. So stay connected with us here in the May Center. We have lots of events and services and things for you. So you are career ready and community minded here at A&M San Antonio. All right, so now without further ado, I want to introduce our wonderful panel and let them have a chance to share a little bit about who they are and some of their experience and what they're involved in. So let's go ahead and start with Dr. Adrian Guardia.
Okay, well, good morning to everyone. And I am Professor Adrian Guardia. I come from the College of Business, and where my area of expertise is in human resource management. And since I arrived at campus on 2011, I have been a real advocate for internships for students, primarily in HR, but we certainly have widened our lens in recent years. And my experience goes back to our early years in forming internships, where Dr. Irene Wagner and I would spend our Christmas break cold calling employers here in the San Antonio area and trying to hustle opportunities for our students. And we generally wouldn't leave until we got a commitment from employers that they would sponsor at least one internship either in the spring or in the summer. So I am a longtime advocate and look forward to working with students in this area.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Guardia. We are looking forward to hearing about your expertise in this. Let's go ahead and introduce Evelyn Garcia.
Hi, good morning. My name is Evelyn Garcia. My major is in human resource. My graduation expected date is spring 2021. I am a member service officer for SHRM, which is the Society for Human Resource Management. And my interest is to get into recruitment for human resource. Thank you.
Wonderful. So great to have you on. All right. I'd like to send it over to our Univision representative for today, Ruben Cantu.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Yes, I work at Univision, the TV station, and I graduated in 2014 from the University of the Incarnate Word. I'm familiarized with the Texas A&M interns from the communications department since recently there's an agreement between Texas A&M University and Univision where the students can register and participate in a really great internship where they can learn so many things and be part of the experience from journalism, radio, and learn editing, video, and a lot of things, and also have the visit of the personnel and staff that work at the station to come and talk to them about, you know, questions or just experiences in general, like we're doing right here. So it's a firsthand experience with the communications department of Texas A&M, and this is very exciting. I'm happy. I'm always happy to answer questions with students. I was there once, and it always feels great when we have something like this where experts, professionals in the real world can tell us and make us feel, you know, better answering those questions and not just go blindly into the next step. So thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Ruben. We are so excited. Univision is a great partner with us and the communications department. So thank you for being on. Okay, and last but not least, we have a wonderful student, Bridget Cooley.
Hey everyone, my name is Bridget Cooley. Like Misty said, I am a journalism student here at A&M San Antonio in the comm department. I graduate in December. I am also the editor-in-chief of our student online news publication, The Mesquite, and I finished my internship. I did it over this past summer.
All right, awesome, Bridget. Thank you so much for being with us. All right, panelists. Well, we definitely want to get into these questions, and for everyone participating and on, again, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. We would love to know what questions you have for our panelists at any time as well. Okay, so the first question is, how do students secure an academic internship for credit? So maybe share some of the process or maybe what recommendations. And I'm going to start with Dr. Guardia for this one, but definitely want others to chime in as well.
Okay, well, thank you. So the internship for academic credit is a relatively new experience for us in the College of Business. Up to this point, we have had some, but they have largely been hit and miss. In the last 2 years, we have really developed a process in cooperation with the Mays Center and their Career Services group. But our point of contact is Professor Maureen Stubblefield, and she is the person. If you have an interest in pursuing an academic internship in the College of Business, she would be your point person to guide you through the process. So there is some element of self-direction. You will need to, identify a particular employer that you would seek an internship with, and actually pursue that internship. Coordinate the agreement with the employer and the university, and you would be assigned a professor on campus depending on your particular major. So for example, Dr. Irene Wagner handles all of management and human resource internships. Dr. Dennis Elam handles all accounting internships. We have Dr. Baruka that handles, I think, marketing internships. And so another resource would be actually going to your professor and asking them about possible internships, what their suggestions might be. And so this is the academic side. And there's certainly other opportunities that are not academic, that and that is kind of the balance that students need to anticipate. There are some students that would feel that they want more than one experience, which is a real benefit. And so they may want to spend their 3 hours, for example, on an academic internship and then pursue a non-academic internship. And I recently learned, for example, that we do have internships of various lengths. So we historically have focused on a 3 academic hour credit internship, which is about, which will require about 20 hours a week for maybe 16 weeks, a long semester. But we have introduced shorter internships that would be half as much and as little as several weeks. So if that is an area of your interest, then I would recommend that you seek out Dr. Maureen Stubblefield as your point of contact.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for those details and that information. And yeah, so some of the things you might hear are maybe different colleges doing things a little bit differently or having separate processes. So thank you so much for sharing how the College of Business does it successfully. Would either of our Jaguar students who are on the panel like to chime in on how you maybe secured your academic internship?
I'll speak to that a little bit.
Okay.
So for the communications, our professor that you would talk to would be Jenny Moore. The department's pretty small, so Jenny is really good at meeting with people to talk about what your wants are and what your focuses might be for your internship. So for me, I want to do print journalism, and so that was kind of our goal when we were deciding how I should get my internship. We have to have an internship to graduate in the communication department. And so for me, my time was running out, and then the coronavirus hit at the very beginning or very middle of last semester. So I was trying to get summer internships, and a lot of my internship opportunities got taken away because of that scenario. So what I decided to do was I wasn't really securing much through Handshake. I wasn't finding what I needed. And so I started just reaching out to local news organizations here in San Antonio to see if they had internship programs and to see if I could do one over the summer. So what I ended up doing is I met with the Jonathan Guajardo, who's the editor-in-chief at the San Antonio Sentinel, which is a really small online program. Online press, and I met with him and we set up an internship, and he went through Handshake and he set up the internship for me on the site. He did all the stuff through the May Center to make sure that I was able to do that for my academic internship. And so that's how it started for me. I also was able to apply for the May Center's Internship Grant because it was an unpaid internship. And by doing that, I was awarded the grant. So that helped make my internship seem a little bit more worthwhile because I was getting paid for the work that I was doing through that. And maybe Misty can kind of talk about the internship grant a little bit more. But now through that academic internship, I made some connections, and now I'm on my second internship that's not academic. It's just for me with the San Antonio Heron. And I got that internship through the connections I made through the San Antonio Sentinel.
Wow, Bridget, thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, that's actually a great point too that you brought up. 2 things. One is we do have an internship grant. So if you're a student interested in an internship, it's an unpaid opportunity, then you have a chance to apply for our internship grant. And that's a great way to supplement some of that for your experience. And also too, I like what you said about not only did you do this internship for credit, but now you're pursuing another internship as well. And so having as many as you can and want to be able to do, that helps add to the experience, right? So glad that you shared that too. And thank you. Evelyn, anything you want to add or say about academic course internships?
Okay, so when I first went out seeking for my internship, the COVID had started in March, so it was very hard for me to find something. What I did, because I'm in human resource, my point of contact is Dr. Adrian Wagner. I emailed her, and she set me up with with Catholic Charities, and which is a non-paid internship. And just like Bridget mentioned, SHRM also has, which is the Society for Human Resource Management. You can also apply for a scholarship through them if it's a non-paid internship. And that's how I got my scholarship. I emailed Dr. Wagner. I also emailed Dr. Guardia, and I was able to get my scholarship through that. So, I mean, there's scholarships out there that can help you, even if you have a non-paid internship.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that. That's a great point too, because you know, there's opportunities everywhere. But yeah, if you do come across some scholarships or some other ways to supplement that, I think that's great. And thank you for sharing how the SHRM chapter participates in that as well. Okay, so I am going to ask our next question and open to any of our panelists here. So what are the benefits of doing an internship? Maybe an academic internship for credit, but just interning in general. And I'm going to, let's go ahead and go with Ruben to start and see what insight he has from Univision about what are the benefits.
Yeah, well, definitely firsthand experience of a glance of how the real world is going to look once you graduate and get your job in the field that you went for. When I was a student, I took 2 internships. One of them in Univision, and the other one was a small digital marketing company. And at the small digital marketing company that doesn't exist anymore, but the responsibility was pretty much come up with campaigns for social media and, you know, pitching ideas, and it definitely doesn't feel the same as being in your classroom and coming up with, you know, just a homework or a school project, which definitely are very important, but this is money. Once you're in the real world, you're dealing with real clients with money that this company doesn't want to lose, and they want to get you know, clients and this and the money in general. So it's more delicate. You're in the professional world, and you learn that the pressure from being at a job, at a professional job, it's different than the pressure of a homework, where sometimes some of the professors would allow you to turn in a little later, maybe some extra credit, but once you're here on the other side, that doesn't exist, and you have to turn in everything on time, and you have to respect the deadlines, and you have to be more professional, even act more professional, and use those skills better than when you were a student, because maybe back then in school you didn't care that much, but now you're dealing with interests that go beyond yours only. So I think you learn a lot of responsibilities, manage your time better, but definitely I would say overall being more responsible and acquire over time more skills that would help you, you know, escalate the positions and hopefully find a job at another company and reach your way over time to the job of your dreams. But I would say the responsibilities is the main thing that you learn with the internships.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a great thing to bring up, and I like how you made the comparison between academics versus what's really happening in the real world experience that you gained. So thank you for sharing that. Dr. Guardia, I know you had some things that you wanted to share here.
Well, one of the things I wanted to bring to students' attention is by having had an internship, when you go for a job interview, you have an opportunity to control the interview because employers are going to want to know about that experience. And so you can imagine they're going to ask, so tell me about that experience. And so you have the opportunity to share everything you learned, talk about the various projects you may have worked on, the assignments, some of the mistakes you made along the way, some of the relationships you made, the professional relationships. And this is very impressive. And so the interviewer is really not having to ask a lot of questions. It's like they just are absorbing everything you have to say. So imagine if you don't have such an experience, this could be a tortured, interview where the interviewer is having to, dig into your academics, and really the value of academics is limited, right? It's not a procedural knowledge. It's what we call declarative knowledge. It's book knowledge. You haven't had an opportunity to apply it. So the richness that comes from the interview experience is in you telling your story. And the more stories you can tell, if you've had more than one internship, the greater your stock value goes up, right? They're going to want to know more about you. And, who knows, they'll pick up the phone and they'll call whoever sponsored your internship to get a second reading on your experience. All this, elevates your position for consideration for the opportunity, right? You move to the front of the line and you continue to move up the process for interviewing. So, I think that's where the real value is. And you have a graphic that I wanted you to show as well of all the possible things that students have at their disposal. The number one investment of your time is in internships. So this categorizes, the various things that you have invested in. So you certainly have had some employment, but it may have just been a job, right? Just to make the bills, just to give you spending money, but it may not take you into a career. It's just a job. Your college major, interestingly enough, most people never pursue a career based on their college major. I was surprised several years ago at a conference I went to of HR professionals. They asked everyone in the room who had majored in HR to raise their hand, and probably less than a fourth of the room raised their hand, which would suggest that one can arrive in that particular profession from a variety of different routes. But I would imagine if you were to ask anyone who's completed their degree program and has been in a career for maybe 5 to 10 years and ask them how did their terminal degree correlate with the actual position that they have, you might find at best 50% are pursuing a career that directly correlates to the major that they had in college. And so you can see the other activities, they all have value, but the number one this one just knocks it over the fence, and that is internships.
Wow, yes, thank you so much. And thank you for that graphic too, that we could actually have a great visual to know how important this topic is and how important experience is overall. I like what you shared too about having that leg up in the interview because that does make a huge difference as well. So thank you for sharing. Let's see, Bridget, do you have anything you'd like to share about the benefits you had of doing an academic internship for credit?
Yeah, kind of going off of just some of what Ruben said, actually, like I work for, our student newspaper here on campus. And so in a lot of ways, I have an idea of how things might work. But when I got into my internship, it was like, oh, things are different. Like I'm having to face different challenges and struggles as, someone who's not just reporting on my campus, but I also have lots of benefits. For example, like for reporters, when you're working for not a school paper, people want to talk to you a little bit more, which is super nice. And that's a benefit that I experienced with an academic internship. So just really having that different experience of, okay, I have a good idea of what journalism looks like because of the newsroom, because of the experiential model that our school provides. But how does it change? And it does change in the professional world. And so it just gave me a good perspective of how it changes, and it gave me perspective on what I might need as a reporter, like what are the things that I need from my editors and from my supervisors, what are the places I need to still continue to grow. And then coming back from it after I finished over the summer, I came back and at the Mesquite now, I was like, wow, these are the things that I need to focus on more before I graduate, so that when I start applying for these professional jobs that I'm going to this next year, I'll be able to say, I've really worked on this thing because I recognize that it's a gap in my knowledge. So just kind of the same stuff that Ruben said, it really does help. It makes you get better perspective on what your strong suits are and where you need to improve.
Yes, definitely. And it's so great to hear that you did learn more and you're able to apply it now to other things in your life and what's going on. And those are what we call transferable skills. So things that you learn that can be transferred into lots of different areas. So thank you for sharing that. Evelyn, did you have anything you wanted to include?
So I want to piggyback off of what Ruben said as well, and it is true. When you are there in the workplace, it is different from what you're learning academically, and you understand the organization's everyday functions and what's expected of you. And like in HR, you have different areas that you can find an interest in. For example, like with Catholic Charities, we had one lady that did nothing but background checks. We had another individual that did recruitment only, and another lady that did complaints, like when employees got let go and having to deal with workman's comp, things like that. So you get to find out, okay, so I thought my interest was in benefits, but then I changed my mind. I'm like, oh, I love recruitment. So it definitely helps you in that perspective as well.
Oh yes, I have been there myself, where I thought I wanted to do one thing and I learned, nope, that's not for me. Let's do something else. So yeah, it's a great way to explore as well. Ruben, go ahead and share with us.
Yeah, I'd like to add something else. I'm a big advocate of registering and take as many internships as you can. Of course, not going to the extreme, but maybe 2 or 3 on your, during your student path. But something that I also recommend a lot to the students that visit the station or classes in general, or just anybody who I have this conversation with, try to take internships, consider trying to take internships that vary slightly on the specific thing that you want to do. So in my experience, talking about communication is, it's so broad, and there are students who dream, because you're bilingual, you speak Spanish, you write in Spanish, you grew up watching Univision or Telemundo, I'll say it, and it's sometimes, or most of the time, Univision and Telemundo are the to-go places for students who are interested in journalism, communications in general, who are bilingual, and in general. But let's focus on those students. I want to be a reporter, and I want to be in front of TV, and I want to have my own show. And they're stuck with the idea of, I want to be a reporter and I want to be in front of the camera, and that's it. And my recommendation, my suggestion is try it out, get an internship as a reporter, try it out, be in front of TV, but also take advantage of that internship and learn how to edit and learn how to write and all this. But then at the same time, you want to be a journalist. So why not going for something harder than just reporting in front of a camera, which could be written journalism. So wow, now go and try one at a newspaper, or now try a digital newspaper, or communications. Again, it's too broad. It could go from public relations to a lot of things, radio. So I know that all these majors that all of you belong to have different fields, different areas. And my recommendation is try them out. You never know if you're gonna fall in love with something that you never imagined you were gonna do. You right now are stuck with, I wanna be a reporter, I wanna do this. But then you try radio and oh my God, you fell in love with radio. And you never knew that it was gonna be the dream, your dream job. So that's my recommendation. Try internships that vary a little bit, not just reporter at Univision, reporter at KSAT, reporter at Telemundo, and those are my 3 internships. You're not trying something else.
Yeah, that is really remarkable advice, Ruben, because diversifying your skill set, and especially nowadays, just makes you a more competitive candidate for other positions, or again, exploring the opportunities to see what you really do prefer and fall in love with. So I really appreciate that advice from you. So thank you. Okay, so next question, panelists. How can students be successful in their internship? Maybe what are some things that you did as an intern, or what do you usually suggest for that? And we're gonna start with Evelyn for this one.
So I would recommend that if you're interested in a company, to research it prior to doing the internship. And also, once you're in, to be observant, ask questions, establish good relationships with the coworkers, even the supervisors, and always be thoughtful at the end of the internship and send them a thank you note.
Now that is really great advice. And I like, it's like to the point, simple, right? Like, you know what you're applying to, make friends and connect while you're there. Thank everyone for that. So I love it. Great way to put that together. So what about you, Bridget? What kind of suggestions or things helped you be successful?
I think leaving your ego at the door and recognizing that you have things to learn, even if you think you have a good grasp on what your skill set is really important. Be honest with the people that you're communicating with. If you don't know how to do something, just tell them that you don't know how to do it. That's why you're there, right? You're there to learn. So that's really important. But another thing that's really helped me was that, especially because I did my internship during the summer and COVID, and it was so strange and a difficult time just in general for everyone. Something that I did, I journaled a lot, and that's actually what Jenny Moore, she's the internship professor, she'll require you to do a journal. But I journaled a lot during my internship experience, and that helped me because at the end of it, I was able to look back and be like, look at, this is what I did, and maybe that day was really horrible, and maybe this day was really great, and everything, but I finished it and I'm done, and I can look back at those lessons and like contemplate on that later. So those are my suggestions. Be honest, leave your ego at the door, and maybe journal or do something to record what you're doing in your experience, because future you will thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, I think that's really great advice, and it helps you to reflect too, which is an important part of the process, because you're learning and you do want to remember what went well, where could you improve, and think about it that way too. Dr. Guardia, what would you tell students of how they can be successful during their internship time?
Well, I think the experience of learning the rhythm of the business is important. It's an opportunity for you to actually observe what you've been reading about. You may have heard, organizational culture, as something that you've read about in your textbooks, and you'll be able to see it in very meaningful ways in your internship. You'll be able to understand what makes the organization function, what is unique that makes the organization special. This is also helpful in as you begin framing your interview responses to talk about things like the organization was customer centric, or the organization was focused on cost, improving efficiency and reducing cost, or perhaps they were quality centric. The idea is that you're able to express your experiences, your observations in ways that connect with the material that you have learned in class, and that will relate to potential employers as well. They're looking to hear that you know more than just the buzzwords, but that you know exactly what constitutes the context of those particular terms. And so I think that's how you do it. Everyone will walk away thinking that was a great experience, or it was a real bummer. But you need to be able to express more than just that. What was the disappointment? What did you not learn? For example, you might say, all they wanted me to do was make copies and go for coffee, and I had a really difficult time trying to make a point that I wanted to learn, certain aspects of the business. So, again, it's providing a genuine a review, evaluation of the experience to your potential employer. I think is very, very important. They'll get a sense of that you have real perspective, right? That you're not just coming in and talking about the happy path, you took, that everything was fine. You were able to express your experiences in ways that demonstrate balance.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great advice. Thank you. Ruben, anything you want to add here about being successful during your internship?
Yeah, I think the panelists from Evelyn, Bridget, Dr. Guardia, you covered everything, and I like what Evelyn said about networking as much as you can, getting to know the people there and them to know you, which is actually very important. What Bridget said about leaving your ego at the door, and what Dr. Guardia shared with us, which was very complete and more in-depth into what we're into just the surface of what we're discussing. And I would say being very proactive, try to be proactive. People notice at the company that you're working, they notice when you're proactive and you take the initiative. And try to take fully advantage of the internship, because I know that Dr. Moore knows who, and specifically in the program with the communications program with Univision, the students that we have there, you can tell which are the students that really try to take advantage of the internship and the ones who don't try that hard. And like I said, people notice. And right now, there is one intern, a former intern from this specific program, that right now it's currently working for Univision. Why? Because he was extremely proactive. He was always there whenever we needed an extra hand, help. He was there. Hey guys, what's up? I have some free time. Do you need some help here at the studio with the cameras? Yeah, sure, man. Come in, join us. Sure. And he learned. He was always there. And when the position was open, who did they look at? That guy that was always there. So it's not a surprise to see a lot of students who take for granted these opportunities a lot of the times, and it's sad. Try to take full advantage of your internships. Try to make sure that it doesn't go to waste. because you never know who you're going to meet. You never know whose hands you're shaking, and they might remember who that person was. That student that was always there, he deserves a job now that I have a position open. So that's my advice.
Yeah, wow, really great info too. And that really does speak to networking, which is a great benefit that you get from the experiences meeting other professionals. And like you said, you never know whose hand you're shaking. So you want to make a good impression and all of that. So yeah, that's really great to share. And if y'all want to learn more about things and steps you can do to be successful, on Wednesday, our workshop is about that. So our Family Feud game and workshop is about all the things you can do to be successful in your internship. Now, Ruben, we did have a student asking a question. He is a double major in management and computer information systems. And I was just wondering, from your perspective, would a double major like that, what kind of opportunities or places might he be able to fit in at Univision?
Well, in my case, actually, my degree from Incarnate Word is bilingual communication. So taking that in consideration, my majors were communications and Spanish. So definitely, I guess one of the best places that I could have landed is Univision. And they definitely take in consideration the fact that you have experience in a field that sometimes these double majors are a whole different world from your main major, and having this secondary major includes or means that some of the courses that you're taking to graduate are in this specific field. For example, if it's management and computer information systems, that means you could have some background in computer programming, or just in general that actually go a slightly different from the business field. So when you're looking into a job and you go to the job interview and you mention that you have the capacity of offering these set of skills to that company that maybe the other candidates don't, because they're focused just in this specific field, when you actually have a secondary major, that's a plus that the person who's interviewing you can't deny, and chances for you to get hired are higher than the other candidates. So of course it's a great deal to have a double major and take advantage of that opportunity, because they're gonna pay attention to that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that too. And I know in the chat, Dr. Guardia had put some comments too, so thank you for that. And as well as Christina Irvin was promoting for tomorrow, our Trivia Tuesday with Students Plus Startups. So those could be some great options too, Dennis. One question that came in is, I am looking for a summer internship. When should I start applying for them? And so with this one in particular, I know there might be some different opinions here, but we do say that, you know, the sooner that you start researching companies and looking at the opportunities, the better you will be when it comes time to actually apply for what's open for the summer. So in our May Center, we have our career services, and we have career advisors that could work with you one-on-one on what are your particular needs. And you can just make an appointment to see them through Handshake. So Handshake is where you'd make an appointment to talk to a career advisor and get more insight and details that way too. So I would say start now thinking about it and looking into it for sure. All right, so we are wrapping up with our final question, and definitely want to have time for more questions to come in for our panelists from everyone attending. But I know that some of the courses have different requirements in terms of what do you need to do in your course to fulfill getting those 3 hours of academic credit. So I'd like to start with Dr. Guardia, and if he can share just a little bit about what are some of the course requirements y'all have in business.
Well, it has been a few years since I have been out of the loop on the academic side. But I recall that generally the principles that we wanted to work were that anytime we referred a student for an internship for a particular position, they should be able to be familiar with the context of the environment that they're going into. So what this means, for example, if you are interested in an accounting internship, then you need to have fundamentally completed the requisite courses, at least an introductory course into accounting, rather than going into this blindly. For the most part, the likelihood of you being selected would be remote, I would think. So you have a better opportunity if you are able to demonstrate that you have already invested time and energy in learning, the fundamentals, whatever the area of interest might be, accounting 101, marketing 101, human resource 101. So the idea is that you have actually taken an introductory course. Now, for academic purposes, there may be a GPA threshold that you may need to satisfy as well. And that may vary depending on the internship that you are pursuing. So it could be maybe a 2.5, it could be a 2.8, it may depend. And then you may also find that employers may also have a limit that they're only interested in students with a 3.0. So the idea is that you become familiar with the prerequisites for taking on an internship in general for academic purposes, as well as watching out for any prerequisites that the employer might impose in addition to whatever the university requires.
Yes, very good point there too. So what are both needs there from academic and from the employer? Evelyn, what about you? Did you have any specific maybe assignments that you had to do or things that were relevant to getting your course credit?
So like I mentioned earlier, you had to have, for the College of Business, the requirement is to have a 3.0 GPA. Also completing Management 3325, which is human resource. So those are the two things that I had to meet in order to qualify to even get the application for the internship.
Okay, great, thank you. And Bridget, what about you?
Going off of what Dr. Guardia said, with the communication department, because it's an upper level course, so you have to be, I'm pretty sure, a junior or a senior in order to do an internship. That's helpful because it means that you, in all of our courses, you have to either do video packages for Enlace, our student TV broadcast news site. You might do something for the magazine, El Espejo, writing wise, and then you probably have written for the Mesquite through your coursework, through your beginning coursework as a comm student. I don't believe there's a GPA requirement, but Jenny can definitely clarify that. So if there are any comm majors, just talk to Jenny and she'll be able to give that information. But that was some of the requirements. And then throughout my course, I had to write weekly reflections on what was going on. And I met with Jenny fairly frequently to discuss if I were having an issue, a communication issue or something like that, to discuss what I need to do to make it better. We also read from a book, I can't remember the textbook title, but it was about making your internship the most successful internship that you can be and how to be a good intern. So that was part of the coursework that we did.
Yeah, wow. Sounds like it was a great experience too. And again, that reflection piece makes a difference as well. Okay, so we are now going to open it up for questions for our panelists. So any students who have questions or other attendees, I know we have maybe some other staff and faculty on as well. Please feel free to put in the chat your question and you can direct it to the panel in general or somebody specific. Also too, I'm going to share a link to our survey because we really would like your feedback about how this information is going to contribute to your insights about internships. So 30 seconds for you to do that survey, and the link is right there as well. So as we're waiting for some questions to come in, then we will also want to direct you to the survey. Yes, Ruben.
Misty, I would like to add, I see that the panelists were talking about the academic requirements, which I, of course, I'm not familiarized with because I'm not with Texas A&M or the program. But in general, I would say that regarding skill requirements, when it comes to applying to an internship or a job in the professional world, don't be afraid, don't let it scare you if you lack one of the skills that are listed in the requirements. Going back to my experience, which is in communications field, let's say you want to apply for a job as a graphic designer, and it involves knowing all these Adobe programs from Premiere, After Effects, InDesign, and web design. And let's say web design, you're probably never taking a course of that and watch just a few tutorials here and there, or InDesign from Adobe is a program that you never used before. Just don't be scared to apply to it. That doesn't mean that they're not gonna look at your resume at all and give you a chance for an interview. So that's what I can say regarding skills requirements. Just don't be scared. I really wasted a lot of opportunities before learning this lesson. You never know who's gonna give you that opportunity and is willing to spend time to teach you that skill, or have someone who already knows that skill, that works with them, to show you and for you to shadow them and learn that skill, and you know, be ready to take on that job responsibilities that you would have at that company. So just don't be scared of that.
Yeah, that's really great insight. And having worked with students in career for over 6 years now, I definitely say, let them decide that you're not qualified for the position, right? If it's something you really want. So I think that's great. We did have a question come in from Amanda. She is looking for summer internships and wondering if she should attend the career fair this week. And if it might be too soon. And so I definitely, anybody who wants to chime in there, anybody want to take that one real quick? Bridget, I saw you shaking your head.
It's not too soon, especially if you're doing something for like a journalism internship, for example. I'm graduating in December, and I wanted to apply for some professional internships right after graduation. And for like the Texas Tribune, which is one place I've applied, their deadline for application for the summer internship is in 3 days. So it's definitely not too soon. And especially when you consider maybe needing a letter of recommendation from someone for your applications, which lots of applications will ask for. Asking people if they're okay with being your professional reference for your resume, all that stuff. It's not too soon at all. Also, like, I'll plug this too. I go to the May Center a lot for resume, to look over my resume, to look over my cover letters and everything like that. Like, that's important too. And so when you factor in all these time commitments, it's absolutely not too soon. Please go to the career fair and do your own search on Handshake or even Indeed, wherever you want to look, but you should be definitely doing it now.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. And I know Dr. Guardia put a comment, as well as Christina Irvin, about, yeah, definitely going now, because summer internships, companies are looking now for summer interns. So that's great insight. Another question came in is, do they work well with people with disabilities? So if it's regarding maybe at the career fair or companies, it varies and it depends, but that's definitely a great question too. If you haven't met with a career advisor, to talk to them about what that looks like for you and what sort of opportunities that there could be. There's companies that really cater to different types of disabilities, and then there's different recommendations that could be made. So your career advisor is a great resource for that kind of assistance and question too. Okay, so we are getting close to our time. I'm going to let Ruben finish off, but I do want to share that right after this from 12 to 12:30, we are having a course fair. So there are different Zoom links, and I put it in the chat just now, based on major. So you can talk to a professor who's teaching or familiar with what's happening in those courses, so you can get more information. So I encourage you to join our course fair happening right after this as well. So Ruben, you wanted to share some insight with us.
Yeah, just adding to that question about should I attend the career fair if I'm interested in a summer internship? Yeah, definitely. Adding to what Bridget said, it's never well too late, too soon, just in general. But my actual advice is, if you're gonna have the opportunity to meet these people, I'm sorry, in person, also exchange contact information and offer your help. Don't necessarily wait for an internship opportunity to open. Offer your assistance, stay in contact, and always try to find out if there's some way for you to help. You don't necessarily have to call it an internship, but make sure that you're willing to, that you're interested, and make sure that they see that you're interested, and keep that, contact, and being like, hey, Mr., Mrs., Doctor, just checking back. I'm still interested. Please let me know, or if there's any way that I can assist you with, let me know. I'm here. I remember I have this set of skills, and I attach my resume just in case. Here you go. And you never know, if you're taking this great opportunity of meeting these people in person, man, go ahead and exchange that information. And by the way, Bridget, I heard you mention Jonathan Guajardo that helped you land in that internship. Say hi to him, please. We studied together at the University of Incarnate Word. I don't remember if we graduated the same time, but please say hi to him. Good friend, good guy, very smart. I have a lot of respect for him.
Awesome. See, connections everywhere. That's so great. Well, I would just like to thank our panelists, and in the interest of time, we'll go ahead and wrap up for today. But wonderful shares, everyone. So appreciative of all that you were able to pour into students. And again, we'll have this recording on our YouTube channel, so please feel free to check it out there. But everyone have a great day, and we hope to see you at the course fair coming up right now as well. So each link attends the different fair rooms. Okay, everyone, thank you again so much. We hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and internship week. Woohoo! Bye, everyone. Thank you.